Hey, everybody, it is Carolyn with Twisted Conversations. And as you can see, I've changed my background again. I keep trying different spots in the house to see which one I like the best, and not so sure if this is going to be it. However, I thought this was the best place to have the conversation for today. I am in my bedroom, sitting in my favorite chair, and the question of the day that I asked men and women was intimacy. How important is that in maintaining a relationship? So let's get that started. I am going to read some of the answers um, that people gave me, and first I want to say I was really glad that men and women in the age group between 50 and 61, 62 felt the same way. So that's a really good thing. When people think of intimacy, when you're in your 20s, you think of intimacy as sex, knocking the boots, blowing somebody's back out. Um, but intimacy is so much more than that. Um, Someone stated that intimacy is a deeper connection with the person, and it doesn't have to be sex. But they said it's hella important and necessary if you want the relationship to be a long lasting relationship. Someone else said that intimacy is not just sex, it's spending quality time, talks, soft or long kisses, cooking together, enjoying a bath together, a weekend getaway just because, doing laundry together. And they said it's important to maintain a healthy relationship. And if you're going to do that, then these intimate moments are necessary. Now, I just want to say those two answers came from men. Okay. I, for one, have never taken a bath with anyone. Maybe it's because I'm thinking of the standard size bathtub, and all I can envision is water on the floor. But now, if you're talking about a jacuzzi and soaking, well, that's different. But that's just me. That's I my brain, when they were telling me these answers, I get a visual. Okay, and I just was trying to visualize two grown bodies um sitting in a standard size tub. But ignore me. Someone else said lack of intimacy is lack of communication. If you're not connected with your partner in a deeper way, they said it's crucial for a healthy, satisfying relationship. Someone else said that yes, intimacy is much deeper than physical touch. It is where the connection um, comes together. Someone else stated that intimacy is connecting on both the physical and mental energies. Um, Another person stated that intimacy encompasses many things, like wants, desires, attraction, dedication, trust, touch, caring, the need to not only satisfy, but to be satisfied. And they said it's not that it's important, it is mandatory. Someone else said intimacy should be, um, well, they said intimacy is shared, rather, a shared relationship between two people. Um, an intimate relationship can be either exclusive sexually or platonic relationship. But those intimate moments can include experiences, conversations, nonverbal expressions, and inside jokes. But that, yes, they are very important. Um, and another person stated that intimacy is not only sex. They stated baths. Another person stated baths, holding hands, cuddling, kissing, rubbing, and body to body. But they said baths. They said showers. And again, I visualize a standard size tub for that standard size shower, and somebody's not going to get washed if I'm standing in front of them. But again, that's standard size. I have seen where some people have showers big enough for two people on each side. So let's really kind of dive into intimacy. So what I've read and listened to from the people that I talk to as far as intimacy is that no, it is much deeper than just sex. I look at intimacy and love language. When you get to know a person, you've got to learn their love language. And so many people say that men are for Mars and women are from Venus, and that you'll never know or understand the other one. And that might be true. However, you take the time to learn what makes that other person tick. So, for example, if you're going out of the country and you want to be able to speak their native language, what do? You learn how to speak Spanish. You learn how to speak French. Um, you learn a little bit, okay? Or you may learn a lot. And you go over to these other countries, and that is how you communicate. I look at it as the same way with the person that you're in a relationship with. Um, I am like an elementary school person when it comes to meeting someone new. And what I mean by that is if I meet you and I'm interested, I'm going to ask very childlike questions. What's your favorite food? What type of movies do you like? Who's your favorite artist? What's your favorite color? How many siblings do you have? What was your best vacation? Name some of your pet peeves. There are certain things that, and I wish that when I meet a person, I can really just go through the list and ask these questions. But it's little things. So if I find out that a person loves jalapeno Cheez-Its, I don't even know if that's such a thing, but I just made it up. Um, but if a person loves jalapeno Cheez-Its and Mountain Dew, the next time you come to visit me, I'm going to make sure I have jalapeno Cheez-Its in the cupboard and a Mountain Dew in the refrigerator, because I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to be relaxed in my home. And so for me, a lot of what people were saying, yes, intimacy is much more than just sex. It is communication. It is paying attention. Um, Sometimes those conversations that you can have with the person with things about yourself that maybe you've never shared with anyone else, whether it be your fears or your goals, those intimate conversations about yourself when you are vulnerable with someone else, that's intimate. Okay. And when you're with someone, if you find that you no longer talk, if you find that you feel like you don't know that person anymore, you need to go back to what it was that made you like them. And 9 out of 10 times, it wasn't the sex. I'm not going to say sex didn't help, but it was the conversation. Because when you meet a person and you decide if you want to talk to them or not, or go a step further, it's the conversation. What did you like about that person? What did you and that person do together? You can't lose that part. When you lose that part, the relationship is basically over. Sex will not fix a dying relationship. In my history, what I've noticed, um, there was a person that made me laugh. I love to laugh. And this person made me laugh. And because they made me laugh, I enjoyed spending time with them. Towards the end of our friendship, situationship, relationship, whatever it was, the same thing that used to make me laugh drove me crazy because I felt like they thought everything was a joke. And I felt like life wasn't a joke. This situation isn't a joke. You're just not funny anymore. That's how I felt. And it was because those very intimate moments that we used to have that made me laugh, that I liked about that person, was no longer there. So be very mindful. If you are in a relationship or situationship or whatever it is with someone and you totally care about them and you want to be with them, it is very important to maintain those intimate moments. You can't drive a car if you don't change the oil. When that oil runs dry, your motor will lock up. Yep, pretty much. If you have plants in your house and they've been growing because you've been watering them, as soon as you stop watering that plant, it's going to die. Everything and everybody needs continuous, continuous nourishment. And as humans, as men and women, those are those intimate things that we share with one another. Sex will not keep your relationship growing. It's all the other little things that you both like and enjoy. So that was my bit of, can't even call it the love doctor, but that was the twisted conversation for today. And that is, what is intimacy? And is it important in the relationship? And I think we can all agree that intimacy, based on however you and your person define it, is very important. But once you stop and that person moves on, sometimes there's no getting them back. So if it's someone you really truly care about and you want them in your life, you too, not just you, because it takes two people to make a relationship work. It should never be one-sided. If a relationship is one-sided, then you're the only one in the relationship. It's not going to work. It's just not. So if things feel a little shaky, you need to have that conversation. And that is something that you two need to work on. So as we approach Valentine's Day, I love love. I do. I love love. So if that is something that you're looking for, I pray that you each find it. I hope that you have the weekend that you deserve. I hope you have the upcoming Valentine's Day that you deserve. And until next time, cheerio.